Let's bring this meeting to order, please. I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 17th Commissioners meeting, North Course, 4 p.m. for the record. First order of business, roll call. Jane, could you give us a roll call? Or do you want to Susan? You can do it. Go ahead, Jane.
Susan Jett. Present. David Beal. Here. Tony Stolzman.
Here.
Joe Kaiser.
Here.
Ron Page. Here.
All right, thank you very much. And now if we could have a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you very much. First thing we need to do is approval of the agenda. And I believe we want to make a change, is that correct? Go ahead, Joe.
I'd like to move that we move into executive session.
Okay, do you want to do that like right after the approval of the minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Right before property owner discussion.
Right.
I second that.
I will first, get a motion to amend the agenda to, after the approval of the minutes, to go to executive session. And a second by Mr. Newell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so after that, approval of the minutes for October 20th monthly meeting. Anybody looked at that?
I make a motion that we accept the October 20th monthly meeting notes as presented.
Susan has made a motion to approve the October 20th meeting. Do we have a second?
I second.
David Beal seconds it, so all in favor?
Aye.
I'm just going to say original.
Mine doesn't either.
Well, how about if I write original on this one?
Right, I mean, I was going to sign this one. and
You could
pass it.
write original on that one. That'd be great.
All right. Okay, now approval for the minutes for the November 3rd special meeting.
November 3rd or November 5th?
Was it November 5th?
There's two of them.
There's two
There's one on the November 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was
Yeah,
two.
you're right.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes for the November 3rd special meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Susan Jett to accept the minutes for November 3rd, seconded by David Beal. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes. And now for approval of the minutes for the November 5th special meeting.
When we were looking at the very bottom, it says, the board needs to determine pay. I'm confused as to, Ron Page notes that he earns no less than $50,000 a year. I think that's misstated. I think if I did that, I could actually play golf every day.
So, oh,
I
you
don't
want to
know
strike
what to
that?
tell you.
Just strike that?
Yeah,
Just to strike it.
Okay. All right. We have a motion for to approve with the amendment.
Make a motion to approve with the amendment.
A motion by Joe Kaiser to approve the minutes for November 5th. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ron Page. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. You got this signed, guys?
Original is 20. Three. Let me see, if I got the right one. I don't have the right one for the fifth. You got it?
That's the original.
times a year.
Okay. Can you see which way? Hello? There we go. Okay, we'll be right back. We're going to go to executive session, and please, we promise not to take that too long. So,
Can I make, before we go?
yes.
Y'all, we have paper and pens up here. If you don't think we have your email address correctly, or you don't think we have your email address correctly, would you please print it like in block letters? And I've got maybe a volunteer back there to read it like a first grader. It's not that we're trying to confuse y'all not getting good email addresses, so please help us out here. I know you couldn't read my mother's writing with a magnifying glass, so help us out a little bit. Thank you.
Ready? Welcome back. We're back from executive session, and in executive session we discussed the employment status of Ms. Jan Ludson, and we have a motion that we need to make. Who would want to make the motion? I know it's a mouthful, right? You want me to say what it is? And so the motion will be to accept Jan to be promoted to acting general manager at a pay rate of $25 an hour, and the length of her term of that position will be 45 days after we hire a permanent GM, which could be amendable, and also her return back to her old position after she fulfills that acting GM position. Do we have well, you can say so moved, that'll be the first. So that's why I can't make the motion. So moved by David Ebel. Do we have a second? Joe seconds it. Joe Kaiser seconds the motion. You want a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Jan?
Let's see here. Susan Jett.
Yes.
Joe Kaiser.
Yes.
Tony Stallsmith.
Yes.
David Nebel.
Yes.
And Ron Page.
Yes.
Motion is passed. So we'd like to, Leslie is now acting GM. For letting us go. I figured we'd get that done before we got into GM updates and all that stuff. So now we open it up for property owner discussion. Please keep it to 3 minutes. Susan, we'll be keeping time, please. Let's see your 3 minutes, and then we'll.
Is it working? It's working. Good afternoon. My name is Rhonda Moore. I live on Hualapi Drive here in the village. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you for giving me permission to install 3 memorial benches in Papoose Park for my daughter Amanda. The last 2 benches were installed just this past weekend. It's gratifying to sit out there and see parents using those benches as their children play on the playground, or to watch as the entire family hikes up and down the waterfall playing on the rocks, as Amanda and I used to do. I truly appreciate the unanimous decision by the entire commission to get this project done way back in May and June, can you believe it? And for the ongoing extra encouragement, especially from Commissioner Page and Commissioner Stallsmith, so thank you. I also appreciate the village volunteers, who used to be called Village Pride, for assembly of 2 of the benches and the installation of all 3. Ed and Kim Kulik, Tom Trumpy, Bert Hoysinger, Kevin Langelier, and Larry Gorski devoted 2 mornings to getting that done. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I butchered somebody's name.
Thank you, Alice. Anybody else?
I wanted to ask. I'm Shannon Langelier. I live at 160 East Lake Shore. And I was wondering, could we ask the candidates for the commissioner positions to come up and say their name and say whether they're going to stay after the meeting, you know, to meet people?
We have something scheduled for December 8th. Several of them
Yeah, I
are
know,
not,
but-
several of them are not here this evening.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the reasons I
Well, I
wanted.
mean, if they're here out and about, that's up to them if they want to stay around.
Okay, well, no, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, they just, I wanted to see them. And I just wanted, and then if they have time, you know,
Well,
just,
And you want to,
if any of them want,
Thank you.
those candidates or if any of you are around, if you want to stay afterward, y'all can please let everybody know. Stand up if you're here.
stand up and say your name.
So we got
Well,
1, 2,
here,
3,
go.
4,
Let's go.
5, 6 of them are here tonight.
Great.
7? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't. Oh, yeah, I see one. Yeah, that's it. There's 2, 4.
I'm
yeah.
Madison, just see it around town.
Yeah.
I'm Myers, sorry.
I'm Lucinda McDaniel.
I'm Steve Monk.
Scott Jones.
Al Cometz.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Y'all would like to stay? Oh, yeah, she said their videos are now live on CDSID, except for 2 of them that we're still getting
Yep.
a hold on real quick. We've been kind of busy. So, we have 2 more left to put up. Okay. Any other property owners would like to come up, please?
And this lady is practiced, so we're doing this wrong.
Am I good? You're good. All right. Okay, I live on Sequoia Lake and concerned about the dam. In 1959, I understand this dam had a leak in it, and it was a failed dam at that time, and it was commissioned to be used as a dam. So, I'm wondering if the state of Arkansas was the one who okayed a failed dam to be in commission. If they are the ones who decided to put that dam into commission, why are not they held responsible, not the people that now live around the lake? Shouldn't be our responsibility. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
What
year did you say that was,
59? Yeah. Katie,
1959.
Katie, tell me your last name.
Well, ma'am, what's your last name?
Maya, M-I-L-A-N.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak now? Show me at the end. No, and one more?
My name is Pat Meyer. I live on 26
Except that we can't hear you.
I live on 26 County Aiken Circle. I just want to know, for information, you've got a candidate here whose wife works for the city. Is that a conflict of interest?
Wow.
No? Not that I know of.
Not that we know of.
No.
They're property owners.
I
so
understand.
they're allowed to run. A councilman could run if he wants to, as long as he's a property owner. It depends on what you consider a conflict of interest is.
At least he lives here.
We cannot stop it. They're property owners.
I understand
All
that.
right, I understand your concern. Anyone else? No. Okay. With that, we'll go to our general manager update.
As Susan said, the videos are posted, and I wanted to tell you you what site and where, so that. Yep. Is that better? Yes. As Susan had said, the videos of the candidates are posted. And I wanted to tell you where they are posted, cbsid.org. There is a tab up there on the home site that says election. So you could go on there and watch it all. That is just for the candidates and that tab. And anything that we have that will be regarding the election, go in there. And I did want to introduce Ms. Deanne Draper. She's at the end of the table there. She will be the facilitator for the election. She'll be working the polls. She is the one who will be calling all the volunteers who have signed up and try to get a meeting set up. And Justice of the Peace, Mr. Tommy Estes, will be training that have volunteered and will certify them as poll workers. So we're still determining a date. We're hoping for December 3rd, but it will be up to the majority of the poll workers. So that is what's happening with the election. The October financials are set on the table there. Anybody who wants one, please take one. And let's see. Any bids that we have, right now it's for landscaping. That too is on cbsid.org. This will be for the 2026 landscape bid. And this is not a tab, but it is a link at the bottom of the page. And you're able to go in there and see what we are requesting as far as the needs. And you would be able to then send your bids to our email, either info.cbsid@gmail or cbsid.gm@gmail.com. So those are the two things for the change in the site. And one more thing, December 8th, the meeting, it will not be a meeting, it will be strictly a meet and greet for the candidates. So everyone can plan that on their schedule, that'd be great. And I'm turning it back to our chair.
Thank you, Jen.
What time?
Meet and greet at Omaha, 6 o'clock,
Yep.
I believe it is. With that election too, as she was stating, Justice Peace Tommy Estes will be overseeing the vote count. So if anybody has any concerns of what is going to happen that day, the volunteers will be there with the Justice of the Peace to count the votes. And I believe, did we say it was public as well, that people can?
Yes,
People
and
can
at
stand
the
there.
end, he will have it set up to where you can sit there and watch everything that's taking place as far as the vote counting.
Right. Thank you,
And
sir.
that will be over at the Omaha Rec Center in the gymnasium.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to old business. Sequoia Dam update. Mr. Jeremy Brooks is here, the engineer, and he is going to give you probably the information that most of you are here were watching. Mark.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, hang on, okay, fine, so,
That was what I was going to address first. I have a really embarrassing question for you. Does anybody have an extension cord hiding in their truck or a power splitter? Otherwise, I'm going to have to steal my power and plug in my projector. Or y'all are going to be real bored real quick. Just listen to me talk.
here.
Thank you so much.
Do you really have one?
I was scrambling trying to get out of the office today, and the shared property that we used to check out, our projectors, because we don't each have them, suddenly disappeared. So, if you bear with me just 1 minute.
Thanks for looking at it.
That I can manage.
But, you know, I can give you my microphone here.
I'll bring out my coaching voice.
Okay.
Just an interest second, trying to get the, place set. So, my name is Jeremy Brooks. I'm a civil engineer with Olson. We're based out of Little Rock, or my office is based out of Little Rock. The company is based out of Omaha, Nebraska. About 2,500 people, lots of specialties. Anything engineering you need around, we can probably handle. I come from a civil and geotechnical background. This is year 23 of being a professional engineer or engineering intern. And I'm responsible for the civil design portion of this project, and I'm also the basically the ringmaster. All the other sub-disciplines run through me, surveying, hydraulics to hydrology, which is the rainfall and the water flow, and then geotechnical, which is the stability. The gentlemen that are managing the other sides of this, the Keith Sykes is a surveyor at our Fayetteville office. He and the team came up and did survey, both manual and drone-based surveys to get accurate data for current conditions. Prior to this, you didn't have anything other than the hand sketch from the 1970s that told you what the slopes on the dam were. Andrew Beekman is the geotechnical engineer of record. He is about the same level of experience I am, and he did all the slope stability analysis and all the planning and the oversaw the drilling that was done on the dam back in the summer. And then Kapil Vittal, he oversees our hydraulics and hydrology team that tells me how much water I've got to get through the dam and how much water is going to flow around it at this point. So this is absolutely useless to y'all past about the second row. But what it is it's the existing conditions on the dam. You have a slope on the backside. It's about 2 on 1. When I give a dimension on X on the line, horizontal to vertical. So for every 2 feet horizontal you go right now, you drop 1 foot vertical. That's pretty steep. If your driveway is that steep, you're unhappy. We have the existing spillway, which is a triple 12 by 5 box culvert. And then we're showing property limits on this drawing as well. Upstream, we have just a slightly gentler slope, primarily because of wave action over the years has washed stuff off the top, right down just below the water surface. That's something else we need to address.
basically through the middle of the dam. Right now, you have bedrock down low, an existing fill on top of it. It's random fill. Based on what we saw, it's basically whatever they scraped out of the bottom of the dam on the upstream side of Sequoia and compacted in place. Slopes 2.5 on one, and there's a triple, the box culverts in the back. It's controlling the elevation. The weir, that wooden weir that you're all familiar with, is really what sets the lake level. It's that piece that sits in the channel. Right now you're seeing about 2.5 feet of it above the water, and that holds your water level up. I don't know why it was put in. I do know that while it's in, your spillway capacity is much, much less than it would be if it was not there. One thing I suspect is that it was installed to maintain the level of both Sequoia and Thunderbird at that higher level so you can use the channel between the two lakes. Okay? So on Thunderbird, that's not a problem. You've got what looks like, when I drove by, looked like 15 feet between current water level and the top of the dam. So that'll hold a lot of water, especially when you look at how lakes, the top of the volume, probably half of the volume of the lake is in the top third of the vertical footage, just because of the way the lake spreads out. Sequoia, now that you're holding up that high, does not have that amount of volume. It doesn't have that freeboard. It's only about 4.5 feet, if I remember right. So on the upstream, so that's here. If you're back here, where it would actually be just lipping over the spillway, you're about 3 feet lower. It's about 475. I know we've had questions about drawdowns. We would have to go down to at least 472 because that's where we would have to be during construction. And then your existing drawdown, there's 2 pipes that go out of the lake. There's a steel superstructure just off the side, and we don't believe those work. We would love to test them, but that comes with a great risk. If you test those and you can't get them closed, then you drain the lake, which is a very bad thing. So unless you're prepared to deal with the emergency at that time, you don't want to do that. In proper operation, you go and cycle those things every 3 months, every 6 months at the most. Make sure they work and continue to work, and then you're prepared to deal with the consequences. So with the hydraulics and hydraulics, this dam, based on its size and hazard classification, it's a high hazard dam and intermediate size. Why is it high hazard? Loss of life, to be honest. There's 2 different things that govern classification. One, if it's more than $500,000 worth of potential property damage downstream, and 2, if there is a loss of life. And it's not, is there an elementary school right at the foot of the dam? It's governed by, is there a habitable building that's going to be inside, if the wall of water comes through this thing, is there a habitable building inside that? Doesn't matter if it's not used. If it's somebody's barn, okay, we might get away with it. If it's somebody's house, it doesn't matter if it's only a vacation home. It's still there, it's still loss of life. That's it, it's high hazard. So with that, high hazard, you have to pass 100% of the probable maximum precipitation. That's a rain event that is extremely unlikely. I can't tell you that it's a 1 in 10 year. I can't tell you that it's 1 in 100 year. It's more like a 1 in 1,000 year storm, okay? So right now, what you've seen, and what we've looked at historically, you've had floods near the 100-year storm event here. That's about 8.5 inches of water in an hour, okay? The probable maximum precipitation is 36 inches in 72 hours. With that, the lake comes up to about 3.5 feet over the top of the dam. Not over just the side of it, not over the spillway, over the entire dam. It's about 21,300 cubic feet per second. You move about 4,000 cubic feet per second through the existing spillway. With that wooden weir in place, it moves about 4,000 feet per second. If you lower that, you move more, but then you start at a lower point, but you wouldn't have the functionality that you have right now. That's something we can talk about a little bit. The flow over the abutments, which are the size of the dam, that's manageable. We get a little erosion there, it's not a problem. It may wash out roads, it may wash out utilities, but it doesn't wash out the dam. If a little bit of the dam goes away, the whole thing falls, okay? Head cuts are progressive and rapid. There's not much we can do. So flow over the dam itself is very, very problematic. This is, there on the left, you see a color-coded map. Here is Sequoia, Thunderbird, and Cherokee. Anywhere that's yellow is underwater. I'm not saying it's under 5 feet of water, but it's under some water. You'll note, and this is in the probable maximum precipitation event, right? Let's zoom in, and you can start seeing some of the streets. And if I can provide this presentation to anybody who wants it later, just so you can see the graphics a little bit better on your own. But the flood waters are coming up and around. I think this is storage units that are off to the west side of the lake. We're up in the neighborhood. I believe the lowest house floods somewhere around 483.2, and your flood elevation is at 486.7, if I remember right. So it's coming. What this is, it's a velocity map in the same system. Anywhere it's blue, it's fairly slow water. Yellows, those are, I know you can't see it, but it's up to like 16, 17 feet per second. So anywhere along this face where we're going over, water's moving at 17 feet per second. You can't stand up in that. It's taking water, it's taking boulders, it's taking everything with it. Okay? And when that starts to happen, the soil starts to go. Where the little goes, it all goes. This is what a head cut looks like as it actually happens. So you have a little bitty low spot, right? And this is over a period of minutes, hours, not a period of days. So the little low spot where it was concentrated, so you have a little pipe coming out, just a dip in the levee. That's why we have to look for ruts on our inspections. It forms a little bit of a head cut down at the very bottom of it, and it chews back, and chews back farther and farther until you eventually reach the levee entirely. You know, this one that's about a 30-foot tall levee, and it's gone. I mean, there's no saving it. Every bit of the soil is gone. Every bit of the water is now downstream. Everything is in it. And it happens because the pool, right at the top, you get to what's called supercritical phase of flow, where water goes from being relatively slow to very fast. And when it does that, it has a lot of energy. It'll actually cause the material in the bottom to cavitate, kind of like you cavitate a boat rock. So when that happens, you create a turbulence, and when that turbulence happens, soil comes up. It does the same thing here down at the bottom, where you get a rapid coming into a still pool. It picks it up, it jumps it up, but you have the same kind of turbulence. And that turbulence at the bottom is normally what eats it back. It starts over here and eats it back over front. So this is the 1979 study. You see, actually, it's an illegible graphic, I'll be dang. You see in the picture that you had a big zone of saturation on the downstream end and also sloughs. Those are still there. Dams seep. It happens. They all seep. An earthen dam will not stop seeping. Seepage is not the problem. It is uncontrolled seepage that is the problem. When seepage is moving soil particles, it can be catastrophic. If seepage is just moving clear water, it's manageable, but you have to be able to monitor that. Additionally, the requirements today are much, much, much more stringent than they were back when this thing was built in 1959. They didn't do any kind of analysis, slopability analysis. It was all done by hand. So you picked an assumed area that it was going to slide in, and you checked it, and maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. I'm not saying, because we can't find any records for this dam, it may have been done, it may not have been done. For the majority of the dams I've looked at in my career, there's nothing that exists. And it wasn't done at all. So we come in and did borings and actually got some parameters to evaluate these things to see what kind of stability we have. So one thing you have in this setting that's unique is karst topography. It's characterized by rock pinnacles with soil surrounding them. If you go and look at any of the channels, Thunderbird's channel, Cherokee or Sequoia's out of the channel, even Cherokee's out of the channel, you see the pinnacles of rock, right? And the void space between them. That void space was soil at one point, right? And then all the water that's come through there over the years has washed it out since they built the dam. Back when they built the dams and the spillways, that was just level ground. And so one of the things that is an issue, excuse me, is so when they built the dam, it probably came down to about here, right? Scraped everything off, looked good and hard, we went to town. Thing is, we came in and we did borings that went down into these pockets by chance, not by design. I'm glad we hit them, but there's no way we could have ever targeted them specifically. And what's in there is granular soils. We've got organics at 60, 70 feet deep. Basically, the contents of the stream bottom, where it naturally flowed through, and then just got covered up by the dam. So water moves much more easily through that space than it does through the clay fill on top. So that's one of the big concerns with seepage. That's primarily what we see daylighting at the bottom of the dam, coming up through the rock on the complete downstream side. What we see coming through the dam itself is seepage that's actually going through the soil. It's very different. We don't see the seepage from the rock coming up. One thing you'll note too is this is a rock core from the dam. Got lots of fracture zones, right? So each of those things is a little bit of water. But when you combine all of them, there's a whole lot of water. We were initially going to do some piezometer installations, which are long-term groundwater monitoring wells. We have chosen not to do that at this time because what we found, it's not worth your money to do, to be honest. Our findings are very conclusive in that it's not going to work as it is. So we don't need that information to nudge the description one way or the other. So we think it's in your best interest to save that amount. So this is the model we looked at. And so, I was saying back in the 60s they would have done this by hand. This is a computer program called GeoSlope. And we input the data we had. So we input strength parameters on the field, and this field is like the topo helps us set the parameter. We've got a road on top, so there's some surcharge load up there, and then the bedrock. And like I was showing earlier with the bedrock on pinnacle, we don't have a way to map that, so we have to assume it's plain. We pick a depth and go. And then from then we look at the primary considerations, which are the dam materials. This is primarily low strength, low permeability clay, with some deleterious inclusions. You've got timber, you've got floating rocks, you've got all sorts of stuff in there. The foundation material, limestone and chert. It's fractured, it's karst, it's got its own level of topography. And then we look at lake levels both upstream and downstream, as well as the surcharge from traffic. So this is actually one of the runs for substability for seismic. Because you are so close to the major fault, your seismic hazard classification is class 1. It's the highest in the state. That sets peak ground accelerations, which are the vibrations we get sideways and then up and down. And then because you're on rock, it's even more magnified. The harder the material is, the more strongly seismic waves move through it and affect structures. So if you look at the green there, it's actually the most critical failure circle, right? It's got a factor of safety of 0.6. Factor of safety of 1 means everything pushing and everything resisting are the same, so everything stays. At anything less than 1, you've got more pushing than you have resisting. So it's failing, active at that time under that level, okay? So in addition to looking at the seismic case, and we didn't just look at this one circle. This thing does, I think it's 3,000 iterations of how that circle is cut per run, and we've probably done 50 runs on it. So it goes and it picks, and you've got to go with the worst case scenario. And it doesn't always fail to the downstream side. Sometimes it fails to the upstream side. Different conditions. So we looked at seismic loading, static conditions, which is just every day it's sitting there. Steady state seepage, it's the water moving through, what we're really seeing coming out of the face. And then multiple rapid drawdown scenarios from very peak flood elevation down to normal pool, from peak elevation down to where your drawdowns are right now, and then down into where we have to go for construction. So looking at all those cases, the factors of safety are calculated. So you've got recommended factors of safety, depending on who's governing, right? I can't tell you who it's going to be. The state probably can. Honestly, it may depend on if we're able to find funding help, whose pockets we're into may help decide whose rules we have to follow. But in either case, so the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Drug Administration, or the National Resource Conservation Service, all have factors of safety of 1.5 for steady state seepage. Your calculated one was 0.9. Remember, 1.0 is critical. That's where everything's at. For steady state seepage, anywhere from 1.4 to 1.2, you're at 0.8. Rapid drawdown from the normal reservoir, from a full flood to the normal reservoir, which is basically if it's real close to overtopping, down to where it sits in the spillway. 1.7 there. You're good there. That one's fine. It's not surprising because it's actually a very small rapid drawdown. The rapid drawdown from maximum reservoir down to, I believe the second one is down to the base of the concrete at 472. That one is also still good, but it's a little bit worse than the others at 1.3 compared to 1.1 and 1.2 that are required. And then seismic, with a normal pool, you're at 0.6, and everybody says 1 for those. So, current conditions are unsatisfactory from multiple aspects. You can't handle the water, the slopes are steep and not stable, and operation and maintenance is very difficult for you. Both from a inspection point, trying to maintain everything. I know they had to be maintained by folks with weed eaters and clippers. They've had vegetation, woody vegetation growing up on them over in the past, which is very detrimental, and it does not appear that it's been repaired. You've got animal burrows, you've got all sorts of stuff that needs to be remediated. So, what can we do? Potential improvements. We've got to improve the spillway capacity and the overflow capacity. We can harden the downstream place of the dam for overflow protection. Remember, if we can keep the soil where it's at, water going over the dam is manageable. It's not great, but it's manageable. And then we can flatten the slope and collect the seepage to improve geotechnical stability and improve operations and maintenance. So what's that look like? This is the condition that the geotech evaluated for me. So you've got your existing 2-to-1 slope in the yellow, coming in and putting in a drainage layer. It's about 2 foot thick, be clean stone, wrapped in geosynthetics whenever it's in contact with earth, preferably on bare rock down here in the bedrock portion, so we collect everything, and then that would outlet to daylight. We put it in some piping systems so we can collect it, measure it from different zones, and monitor the output. If it changes seasonally, if it ever increases rapidly in outflow, these are all signs of trouble. Then new fill, for this, we're looking at using on-site materials, most likely. I think we could probably have an adequate borrow source from the spillway expansion we would have to do. And then some riprap, just primarily for shoreline protection, for the wave action. Over time, that continuous meeting tears things down. We'd also do a small increase in height. It's not much, but remember me showing you that little dip that starts? You've got some of those, right? And so we want to get everything dead level and controlled. And also now that we've got, we've had 70 years worth of the dam sitting there, most of the consolidation where the soil gets smaller on its own has taken place. So we have everything level now, we improve things a little bit, harden it up top, we're more able to manage the flow. So the new outside slope would be a 4-on-1, and we would do some shoreline protection and also slope armoring on the downstream side. So when you do that and rerun all those factors of safety, right? Values on the right are still the same. The values on the left have changed a lot. You went from steady state seepage of 0.9 to 2.3. So what we've got designed right now is overkill. You know, we recognize that. A big part of what we would do going to additional design, for this point, our scope was a concept that would work, right? Anything future going toward construction or further design, we would try to trim that down. If I could take that from a 4-on-1 to a 3-on-1 and still be above that 1.5, I would do that. That would save you a lot of money in fit. Same thing with the steady state seepage from the maximum reservoir. It's up about a point. Rapid drawdown, that one actually changed a little bit in the wrong direction, but it's primarily because of the spillway elevations changing. The rapid drawdown is right at where it needs to be, but that wouldn't. Neither of those are really dependent on the downstream geometry, and they're perfectly acceptable. And it's for seismic, we're at 1.2 instead of 0.6. So we've got more resisting now than we have dry. So this is absolutely useless again, I apologize. But what I'm looking at here is the 4-to-1 slope going from 3 culverts to 5, still 12 by 5. Then an auxiliary spillway out here, right? We have, right now, all the drainage that comes across the side actually goes out. And there's actually some houses just off the drawing that it would get into. In this location, there are some lots, but they're undeveloped lots. And I would hope that it would be easier to get access to those through purchase or condemnation, or however the village has to do it. I don't know. I'm not in that. I don't do real estate. But try to make everything more suitable. So then we would also have, this is the parking lot for the boats, for the trailer area. More flow would actually come through the side in a low spot over the road. Now, you say, okay, why are you driving water over the road? I gotta put something over here. I'm gonna put it over the dam. And how often is that gonna happen? Well, so those culverts will handle 100 dish It's the 1 in 100%, 1 in 100 chance of annual occurrence. So, a lot of rain. By the time it's flowing around and over, you're all wondering where Noah's Ark is floating by, okay? This is not a regular occurrence event, but it is what governs. It's that 36 inches in 72 hours. And we want to keep as much of it off the dam as we can. So the proposed section at 4-1 was slope lowering. The normal pool is still set by, instead of that wooden weir that we can't control, there are several options. One of which is a system you guys have probably never seen. I hadn't for a long time, but it's a set of automatic gates. And they're not like you see on the big hydropower, big metal gates that come up and down. Those are ridiculously expensive. The price tag I'm going to tell y'all later wouldn't buy gates for this thing. This is actually so these are, they're called inflatable dams, right? They are very large when they need to be. What it is a rubber, basically a reinforced, Kevlar reinforced rubber tube. Goes in and you inflate it, and the whole water back. I remember seeing these when I was a teenager in the Los Angeles River, right? These things are 10 feet around, 150 yards long, holding back a ton of water with concrete channel. Then we've got a couple other views with water flowing across the top of them, and then they actually have some that the tube picks up the gate, the metal gate, which offers you some more protection for things flowing over. If you have a heavy debris load, say you have a bunch of trees that are in your stream, probably not the case here, but you might have to watch a little better. We might have to do some upstream trash racks collection system to try to protect the device. But what that does is, you know how you have that little weir right now that takes up 3.5 feet? If we put something like this in, I can suck that thing down, right? And now, instead of having 5 barrels of fox color where I can only flow 2.5 feet, I can flow 5 feet of water. That'll more than double your current capacity, right? So we put a lot more water in the channel. Let me back up. So, in addition to the granular drains, the drain up the slope, we do the slope armoring on the downstream side. We would also wind up taking out the existing, the two existing corrugated metal pipe culverts. They don't work, they serve no purpose, and they're a liability. If one of them breaks, it's another outlet for something to come in, right? And everything, the dam slope through. So you are required to have a low-level drawdown. We do that with high-density polyethylene piping and a cycle. So basically, some valves upstream and downstream that go out into the lake, and then on the bottom side, you prime the top and close the valves, you prime the top, open the bottom and the top, and now it goes. Okay? So it's a non-power solution. They work quite well. You just have to make sure you keep everything airtight at the top, or else you'll airlock it, which just requires, taking out a garden pump, or 5-gallon bucket, or, a 3-inch trash pump, and repriming it and starting back up. So, this is what you don't see. And I know you can't read it. That's $7.2 million. Okay? Now, remember what I said. There's a lot of room in this to back that down by changing how things compare. Okay? 7.2 right now says you buy it. Okay? That's not near as bad as it could be. I know it's more than $50 for what you want to hear. I mean, if I was a landowner here, that's more than I want to hear. But there's a lot of uncertainty in it at this point. We've got some very crude volumes. And it's basically belt and suspenders and duct tape holding everything up, right? It can be pared down, but it's got to be pared down for additional design. And that's a construction cost, okay? And that also includes a 20% contingency, so the actual budget is just over 6. So, now that I have scared you, one at a time, don't shoot. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any kind of an alternative, or is this it?
So your alternatives at this point, regulatorily, are tear it down or fix it.
Close the lake or fix it? Basically.
You basically have to convert the lake bed back into a stream.
Okay.
To where all the water comes down the naturally.
Okay.
And I can't tell you for sure, but so if you look back here at the earthwork numbers cut, we're looking at about $20 a cubic yard. There's a lot of dirt in place right now. You don't have to move it all, but you have to move enough of it to where it doesn't form. It's not an effective dam at this point. Yes, ma'am.
Why you haven't mentioned adding another spillway?
I haven't mentioned adding another spillway.
Maybe you did, but I missed it.
So we want to increase, right now you have 3 barrels. We want to add 2 additional barrels in the existing spillway for a total of 5, which increases the capacity significantly. The other thing is, because you have a road that goes across, I can't just take and build a deep spillway. We could do a series of pipes if we wanted to, but right now what I've got is, it's a dip, essentially. Let me see. Okay. So what you're looking at here, these are the barrels, and these are contours going down and then back up, right? This is
That's that parking lot.
yeah, so the parking lot's here. This is in the roadway itself. And I believe it's at 15% right now, which you can't go too steep into its own negative grade, or else your vehicles will hit and things are bad. So I can't go down too steeply here or too steeply there. The other thing is, right now, some of it bypasses on the outside, some of it may bypass on the outside too. We may be able to build a berm on the the inside of the roadway, the existing roadway's right here. We might be able to build a bigger berm there and shove everything back this way. But there's also just surface drainage that's going to impact this area. And if we cut it off here, then anything that should be flowing to us, we're keeping that way. So it's kind of which is worse.
So there's no option to the other side of the.
So looking at the other side, that was one of my original
I know their
ideas.
house is there.
Ma'am?
She knows there's houses there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not thinking all the way at the end, but somewhere.
Well, so then if it's not all the way to the end, we've got to really harden what's on the slope, right? And so then it's another series of boxes. And right now, see, if 5 boxes do 7,000, you have to add about 14 more, okay? And so then you're looking at 14 by 1,200, and it's almost 200 feet of box culverts. So then, from whatever point you picked them at to down here, basically the entire slope, it's concrete. So if you harden that much of it, why didn't we just harden the whole thing and just let it go over the top of the boxes?
Well, I don't know, but if there might be
Yes,
difference
ma'am.
in cost.
Yes, ma'am. No, and that's definitely something we're looking at. The box culverts are, I think we have them in right now at about, I'm sorry, I keep flipping around, but I do not remember my numbers. Box culverts are about $4,000 a linear foot. So just looking at the 2 additional barrels, it's $240,000. So if you add 8 more barrels on top of that, that's close to $4 million by itself in box culverts. Yes, sir.
Yes, you said it was 2-on-1. Is that like, meaning like, you're gonna move like a 1-on-12 pitch?
Yes. So every 2 feet I go here, I drop a foot.
So that, okay, so that's like a 30-something degree angle?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so you're gonna decrease that angle?
Significantly. Right now it's modeled at 4, so every 4 feet I go, I'm down 1. So it's half the slope.
Okay, and is it the same on the inlet side?
No, sir. So the inlet side, we're only going to look at doing the modifications we have to do to stabilize the
I
shoreline.
understand.
The inlet side is much less critical. It's a short slope. It's always got water coming to it.
Right,
The
okay.
pressure is going down, not up so much.
Right, so the slope is more.
Correct. And it's actually at 2.5 on one right now anyway, based on what we've seen. So it's a manageable slope.
So the $7.5 million question is, how far down will you draw the dam to do the work?
How far down do you have to, will we have to go?
Yes.
So right now, that's based on the critical factor. Is this, right? You've got your existing pipe inlets. They're about 468. I've got to get down below those by a little bit to do the construction. And by a little bit, I can't tell you how much right now. I'm not saying 10 feet. Some of it's a function of how quick the contractor can get in and get out. I want him to be below that by at least a couple of feet. So if there's a storm event while he's got that open, we didn't just create a channel that's going to wash out the dam, right? And he's, no matter what kind of, the number of pumps he puts in here to try to control the lake level, he's not going to be able to outpump a good rainstorm, not even a small rainstorm with the amount of acres that drain to. So we have to get down to at least 468 during construction for a period of time and maintain nothing higher than about a 472, which is where we will be doing the shoreline elevation. And then that gives us about 4 feet of freeboard between 472 and 476 where the current spillway is to operate in. Hopefully that gives us enough gap. I've got one over here.
Okay. What is it at right now?
What's it at right now? It's at, it's down a bit from normal pool. I drove by. So the normal elevation of the weir is at 478.36. It's down believe 476, if I had to guess, at my eyeball. I didn't take a tape measure out, because
So
I
we're
was
talking
pretty late.
about 8 more feet down.
About 10 more foot, 8 to 10 foot.
8 to 10
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Two questions. First of all, your company, you've done the study on the dam. Are you affiliated with the people who would be doing the repair on the dam?
No, ma'am, we do not have a construction division, that's not something we do. So, the way the engineering services on that, this is not a design build contract. I have, if it's more expensive for you, it doesn't put any money in my pocket or my company's pocket, right? So, we would prepare a package for you with a full design, specifications, which tell the contractor how strong this concrete's gotta be, what kind of dirt it can use, all this kind of stuff, and then front-end technical specifications that talks about contract language. Basically, anything you go out and bid for, say the village goes out and buys a truck or a tractor. There's payment terms, there's warranties, there's insurance, all that stuff is part of the package. And then you would send that out with our assistance, would send that out to bidders, right? They're gonna come and they're gonna give you, they have that sheet I had up there with the price list, they get something that looks like that, except it has quantities, no prices. The prices are there for you. So the prices that I'm showing you, I'm not gonna say they're a guess, but they're a guess. It's based on experience, it's based on local works, it's based on big projects like the Arkansas Department of Transportation. They have a standard price for Class 7 base works, which is road-based rock. That's one of the things we use. We reference back to all these things to estimate a price. There's no way until you put it in a contractor's hands to get an actual price. And our job as the engineer is to do our best to, when you get an actual price up front from a contractor, to eliminate what are called change orders, right? These are things where you give them something but there's a change in the conditions, either in what you're requiring or what is necessary to do the contract or the contract conditions. There's suddenly, Jimmy Hoffa's car buried in the dam. We gotta extract that and deal with, cultural resources. Who knows? That would be a change order. And whenever there's a change order potential, and please, if any of you are contractors in the room, I apologize. I know that's how you make money. But when you get a contractor under contract and they have the opportunity to execute a change order with you, unless you have a really straight contractor who wants to work with you again in the future, buckle up, okay? They have you by the short hair, okay? So that's what we do.
Another question was,
Yes, ma'am.
when you start, if you start this process, how long does the lake have to be dammed?
Depends. Okay, so remember we talked about rapid drawdown, right? That's one of those factors that we assessed. We have not done, and this would probably be something that's part of full-term design. I've got to figure out how quickly I can pull the lake down. I can't just go out there and breach it right now. If I do, work will fail. So we'll have to do a analysis to see, okay, I can lower the lake by an inch a week, or 2 inches a week, or a foot a week. I don't know. So we would have to determine that, and then based on that, whenever we figure out that we're going to have a source of funding, or you guys are able to pass it, I don't know if it's a village or however things work, we don't want to lower it until you're ready. But one thing right now, before today, or before my first presentation at the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, you didn't know it was a problem, right? Now you know it's a problem. As an entity, you know it's a problem. So I'm not an insurance advisor, but if somebody told me that there was a short in the wiring in my house and I let it burn down, my insurance is going to be real angry if I didn't do anything to mitigate that, turn off the breakers, right? Now you know there's a live wire, so we want to reduce the risk if we can. That would be my recommendation. So. And living next to a drained lake is not fun. It stinks, it's muddy. But the alternative is catastrophic potential. Yes, sir.
So there is is sometimes stop from Thunderbird to Sequoia.
There is a gate there that's non-functional.
It's non-functional.
Correct. As I understand it, it's non-functional. And it's not, in addition to being non-operational, there's no operational plan.
Right.
So when you implement,
Then you would be able to shut it down.
so if we were, yeah, that would be the thing. Right now, in a very heavy rain event, probable maximum precipitation, everything is landing in the two lakes, but there's water moving from Thunderbird into Sequoia. Right? So we would have to look at, okay, if we shut that, it would make things worse on Thunderbird too. Right? So for construction, we would definitely stop the area between them. We do 2 temporary structures. Probably basically bulk the 3x3 sandbags with liner in the middle of them, one on the upstream side of that, one on the downstream side, and pump everything back from the middle, back onto the Thunderbird side, just to allow us to draw the water down in Cherokee and Sequoia down to the control.
As far as people that live on Thunderbird, would it be suggested that people get their boats at
On Thunderbird, we shouldn't see any level
the because I know the lake's now like at least 2.5 feet now.
That is a function of nature, and not anything that's been done by the village to my knowledge. Yes, sir.
So you're aware of the problem with the dam?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you don't recommend it being drawn down?
I am not an insurance agent. I cannot make that is outside the practice of engineering.
Would it make sense though if there's potential for the dam?
If it was mine, I would be more comfortable with it drawn down at a controlled rate. I can make those recommendations if you as an entity decide that is what you want to do, we can provide those
Well,
recommendations. But I can't tell you something you need to do or have to do.
believe me, I was in Rapid City when Pat told the dam where you don't want to have that.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, is it like you're saying they have valves on the dam that are non-functional?
So in the
You're saying you just want to mess with it.
yes, sir. So I'm connected to the internet, so I'll have to just talk about it.
And how far down are they? Are they pretty far down, or are they?
So it's about elevation 468 is where the inlet is. So if you look, so if you're standing looking at this channel, right, there's another channel that's lower on this side. It's about 8 feet wide, if I remember right, vertical concrete sides and a flat bottom. There's two 24-inch four-hand pipes that go out, and on the other, just on the other side of the road, there's a little metal walkway that goes out.
Now, is that something that is going to be able to be repaired with?
We will repair it or replace it.
You replace it?
Corrugated metal has a very limited lifespan.
Yeah.
It's never water, so the joints in it are never watertight,
Right.
never soil tight, things can migrate. What I like to do in these kind of situations, especially if we're gonna go with a siphon system, is high density polyethylene HDPE pipe. We use a real thick wall, so it's never in danger of collapse on its own. And the joints are actually fusion welded. They bring out basically a giant flat iron, hot iron, and sandwich it between the two pieces of pipe, pull the iron out, and smash it back together and hold for a long period of time. And it creates a joint that's actually stronger than the pipe itself, and it's completely liquid tight.
So with you, I don't know, were you talking about a tube going from the lake height down so that you have to go
No, it would go from underwater down the slope.
Right.
So it would extend out in the lake, and because HDPE floats, we would have to anchor it, and we would probably do some sort of lifting system on it. So you could bring it up and pull off any leaves and debris like that. And then the downstream end is, you just see a valve sitting in a head wall for protection. Yes, ma'am.
I have
gets to that point, do you have a list of qualified contractors?
There are many in the state that can be recommended, depending on workload. For a project this size and this amount of work, it's probably not somebody out of Ashland. I mean, this is big equipment, big compaction equipment.
And it needs to be somebody who knows what they're doing?
Yes, ma'am. The other thing that is required, and this is not, I'm not trying to sell services here, but the engineer who oversees this, whoever oversees the final design and stamps those plans, he's got to certify to the state that it was built to those plans. So for me to do that, if it's from Olson, I'm gonna have a full-time construction observer on site. He's gonna live here and be on site every minute the contractor doing anything that's billable. You know, while they're fueling up equipment, he's not gonna be there. He'll save you that money. But if they're putting dirt down or doing anything that's critical to the slope, he will be there and he will be my eyes and ears to make sure everything's done right. And then the engineering staff, I show up on a regular basis. I don't want to tell contractors we're going to show up, because I want to see what's really going on, not what's going on when they clean up for me. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand talking to some people that were here when that dam was built. They said that when they were under construction, they ran into a cavern. They also said that when they poured the cement for the dam, they developed a leak. They tried to come back out and fill that leak up, and it developed again. They decided at that time to go ahead and commission to go ahead and improve the dam and put it in with the leak in there. Now, they thought it was an underground spring that caused the leak. Is that gonna be an issue when you're going into construction if you have no history of this dam?
That's the karst, right? That's, remember those hills and valleys underground? That's probably what they were hitting. So one of the technologies we originally contemplated for this was going to be actually doing a cutoff, right? Doing injection or a large trench along the center line of the dam to build a keyway to try to stop that. We don't think that's, so last time I know I was quoted when somebody said, you know, I said $20 million for a piece of equipment to get here, that was that piece of equipment. Okay? It's not going to be feasible, and we can do it without it, based on what we're seeing with the drainage plans. So we think we can get away dealing with the seepage in another mechanism and still have a stable dam.
Okay, so the spring was still putting water out in the.
It will still put it out, but it will put it out through an area we can monitor, and we can monitor it electronically. So we could be telling, you know, Commissioner Stallsmith, hey, it's normally 2 gallons per minute, suddenly it's 50 gallons per minute. And that's when he calls me and says, what's going on?
So right now, we're looking at upgrading the lake, it's not necessarily, where we consider the danger to be in.
Where do I consider the danger and all those factors of safety? Right now, not just the seepage, remember what I said, the seepage is not the problem. The seepage is a symptom of the problem, okay? The slope stability is a problem, the uncontrolled seepage, where it's not being, it's moving, right now it has the opportunity to move fines. And also, because it's saturated, it can cause slopes. So if you go and walk up and down the back of that thing, it's hilly, right? It should be a 2-on-1 slope, constant, like a shoe glass. It's not that. There's spots that have been bumped up, and they try to push it back up over the years, and it'll never work. The way the highway department handles that on the road cuts you see, they fix them twice. They fix the first time with the dirt, they just push it back up. They fix the second time with the dirt, they push it back up. The third time it fails, rock, every single time. So if you're driving down the road and suddenly you see a side of hill that's got, 200 feet of gray stones on it that looks like it's completely out of place and has no purpose there, it's because they had a slope failure multiple times. That's the only way to fix it. You put something on it that resists it. It's got more strength in the soil. Yes, ma'am.
My question is in regards to the other lakes. Were you part of the inspection for the other lakes that we did?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're fine with those? Or do we have things that we have to do to meet the regulations that the state has upgraded?
So, we haven't done any detailed studies.
Okay.
In order to reevaluate all those dams, it's going to basically take the conceptual design that we did for this one. We'll have to do that for each of those. If there's not instability noted, it cuts down. But still, you've got to do the survey, you've got to do hydraulics and hydrology analysis, and you've got to do the geotechnical. And that's where the majority of the funds for this work.
And if we do, as you're recommending, or if what we've gone through and everything here, we will then meet the regulations that the state have updated for this particular lake.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's just get a couple more quick questions, and then I'll speak on something. The lady in the back up there.
I just have a question on this design. Have you installed anything like this before, or is this a new design?
No, absolutely. I've done several like this.
And where are they at?
There's one in Little Rock. There's one in Pulaski County, it's privately owned. I did probably the oddest one was a dam that was built out of baled tires, baled passenger car tires, up in Mountain Home, and we stabilized that. So this is not a one-off.
Did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a question? Hold on.
I just want to know, you said that you're going to put stuff out for bids.
No, okay, so this is another thing that I've heard come up. Engineers, we don't bid against each other. If you have a problem, you call somebody, and we give you what's called a statement of qualifications, right? Tells us what we do, how we do it, and our experience and things. Then, as an entity, you select based on the qualifications. And you may request qualifications from a dozen engineering firms, right? That's perfectly normal. You then select the engineering firm you want to work with, and you see if you can establish an acceptable contract for both parties, right? If you can't with that first one, you go to your second choice, and you negotiate with them. But what you don't do, and what engineers by our code of ethics will not do, is we don't bid against each other. It doesn't serve anybody's value, right? You get what you pay for, and you need the expertise. You want to select someone, even if it's not me, it doesn't make any difference. My paycheck doesn't change, whether it's here or if I'm working somewhere else. You select us based on our experience. It's the only way that we protect the public safety, okay?
Yeah, Roland, did you have one?
So your drawdown is 10 feet for construction.
Yes, sir. Give or take.
How far is the drawdown now for safety factors?
That's a risk liability decision. If you would like us to, we can look at where a factor of safety gets to a certain point and see if that's something you want to do. Remember, right now you had that factor of safety at 0.9, so there was more driving than there was resisting. We can see how far you have to drop down to get to the factor of safety 1, 1.1, whatever you tell us you want it to be. We can tell you where that point is.
I know there's a lot of questions, and I still have a lot of questions. I might suggest that we put together a list of questions if everybody would, if you have other questions, send it to our office, because I've got quite a few too. We could be here all night doing questions and questions and questions. So I might suggest that we put together a list of questions to give to Jeremy, that he can come back and we can share with the public the answers that he gives to all these different questions that we might have, if that would be okay.
So,
okay with you guys?
One thing
Yes, sir.
that I do want to reiterate is, say other than public forum like today, everything I do, my contract is with Cherokee Village. So if you have questions, they need to go through the village.
Yes.
My responsibility will go to the village rather than direct. And
Right.
we submitted reports for slope stability and also for hydraulics and hydrology. We still owe you a set of about 4 drawings right now. And basically, what the drawings I showed for the conceptual design, I got to put them on title blocks. You've had your hand up for a long time.
Right.
All right, we paid him, the firm,
Right.
$150,000 at this point for what you just presented to us, right?
Those are invoices that have been paid today. I think the contract is $260, and there's a small change or reduction.
So what we'll do is,
No, just one more question. All right, so for you to, make plans that would be presented to contractors, how long would that take you and how much will that cost you?
That is
go with the rest.
Probably an 8-month-long process. You would be looking at best for probably construction summer of 2027, based on weather and precipitation. I'm not gonna quote you a number. I'm really not. So,
No, I'm saying for your
I'm not gonna quote you a number. I've had to look at it and see what it says. The normal cost is about 10% of construction.
Okay, like I said, this can go on all night. Like I said, if you want questions, let's direct those questions to the office. We'd like to get a whole list together. Like I said, I've got some questions as well. And then we'll deal with Jeremy. Jeremy can get back to us with some answers that we can all share with the public. We do have a couple reports I think we can get onto the website somehow. And we can figure that out so that you all can look at these reports and get a good idea of all the things that they're saying here. Excuse me. What's going on? I thought you were still sitting over there. One thing we wanted to share was, Susan, did you want to have?
Jeremy, would you please tell the group how you met the Suburban Improvement District several years ago in that dam?
Yes, ma'am.
So y'all listen to this. This is how we got
So,
to right
in
here.
fall of 2023, the Arkansas Department of Natural Resources Dam Division was going to hold a dam owners workshop. And they were originally planning to hold it in at Horseshoe Bend, right? And the golf course there, I think, was going to host it. And the day before, or 2 days before, there was some political kerfuffle over there where somebody, I think one of the, maybe the GM got locked out, and it was a whole big thing that I had nothing to do with and don't really want to know too much about. But basically, they were scrambling to figure out where they could host it. So up in this general part of the state. So I think they contacted Betsy, and she offered up this space. We were right over there in that corner. And FTN is my former company. We were acquired by Olson in fall, or in spring of 2024, just over a year and a half ago. And we were over here, and they asked us to come in, and I had a colleague who talked about hydraulics and hydrology, the things that dam owners need to know about the rainfall and the outflow. And then they had me come up because of my geotechnical, construction, and civil background to work on the inspection part. Part of that dam owners workshop that we do, we actually go out and we look at a dam. So we went and actually inspected Cherokee, right? Hey, there's some things that are not great about Cherokee. It's in a little bit better condition than Sequoia, but if I was looking at the second dam for you guys, I'd recommend that would be the next one. So based on that and my experience there, because the state wanted the dam owners to do their own inspections. Betsy was not comfortable with that, so she wanted somebody with more experience to come back and help her. So FTN at the time was a little bit more risk adverse. We didn't want to take on my superiors did not want to take on the liability of being the inspectors for all these private dams. So we offered to do training. We came up and I developed an application for these guys to use and monitor all the dam inspections. It showed Betsy and there were at least two gentlemen whose names have made me right. I think Dennis. George was one and Dennis. And George. Dennis and George. And we walked 6 to 7 dams. We didn't get to the last one because it hadn't been mowed yet. And looking at a dam with waist-high grass, it's fine, it's not fine, I can't tell you unless I follow it crash plus, take a step. I really can't see. So we came up and did that training inspection. A year later, Betsy came back and did another inspection, said, I think Sequoia's getting worse. She sent me pictures, I compared them back. Yeah, I think you're right. So knowing what was coming from the Natural Resources Division and the requirements to recertify these dams that's coming from the state, she's like, well, let's go ahead and take a look and see, is it okay, is it not okay? The best case scenario we found, we came out and drilled and did the hydraulics, and it's great. And I put a stamp on it, stamp on the inspection. It's perfectly fine as is, and been just as happy. I don't I don't like spending your money. It's never good.
Yeah. So, thank you, Jeremy, very much. Jan, where would you like people to send these questions to? What would be the best? info.cbsid@gmail.com.
That's the one.
That will go directly, that will get to Jan directly, so we can start getting some of these. info.cbsid@gmail.com. Okay? Let's move on to this. Next, we have a quick claim deed from .com. Now, we got a quick claim deed from CHEROKEE, is that correct? Jane, can you explain?
It's a quick. Okay, this is a quick claim deed we received from a gentleman who would like CBSID to claim it to him. He has paid all the assessments, and the deed was still listed as, in the redemption deed that he has paid, it was still listed in his name and CBSID. So what he is requesting the commissioners to do is to quit claim it just to him and remove our name off of it. There's 2 deeds, and he has paid everything on it, so that's kind of what it was. It was a foreclosure, but it never got changed over.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll make the motion to do this quick claim like it's outlined here,
Okay.
because we've been talking about this on and off since, I think, August sometime, just a little bit here.
Okay. Motion by Susan Jett to accept the,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ron Page. Do we roll call vote or just roll call vote?
Susan says yes.
Kate says yes.
Joe?
I say yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And it's approved.
How about you, Tony?
Tony's fine, yes.
Okay.
Won't matter now, it's 40. Yeah, we just did unanimously. So that's done. Next, employee guidelines update and holidays. We have got a list here. Some updates for the guidelines, and also a request for 3 holidays. So Jan, you were talking about the first one here, the bereavement time?
No,
Or no?
it's strictly for the holidays.
Oh, strictly for the holidays. Oh, that's something that changed.
There's only 7 full-time employees
Right.
requesting.
And they're requesting the 3 more days, right? That are Veterans Day. Is it President's Day or MLK this year?
President's Day.
That's in February.
Correct.
And then Good Friday.
Correct.
They, what the banks take and everybody else takes.
And that would be equal to the county, who we deal with every day, the banks, and then the city of Cherokee.
Okay, so we're just amending that part of the employees' paid holiday.
Yeah, just add those days to
Those 3
Paid
days to the
holidays.
paid holidays. So we need a
That
motion for
requires
that.
a motion, and I'll make the
Yes.
motion that we add these additional days for our full-time employees.
I second that.
There's a motion by Ron Page to add the 3 days, Veterans Day, President's Day, and Good Friday, to the paid holidays for the 7 full-time employees, seconded by Mr. David Nebel. Roll call vote.
Susan says yes.
Dave Nebel,
Yes.
Tony Stolzman.
Yes.
Ron Page,
Yes.
and Joe Kaiser.
Yes.
Okay, that's passed. Motion passes. Move on. We don't need to do any map management. We've done that already. New business, it says sanctioned groups. Is there something that we're to do with this?
Yeah.
I know there was a request for the list of sanctioned groups by Mr. Conley. which we need to upgrade, I believe, because I looked at the list today, and it's outdated, very much. There's a lot of groups that are not still around. And was there a request other than that involved?
Just for you to review it.
Review it? Okay. So we need to review and take a look at what groups are still around and what's are not around, and upgrade our list.
It was also to review it as far as who pays to
Review
use
see
amenities.
who
et
pays and
cetera.
who doesn't, okay?
Exactly.
And for what reason?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will get right on that and start going through that. And
Showing for your agenda item in December.
yeah, we can bring it back with an upgraded list, I guess. And well, so we don't, so we guys. Yeah, that's been fixed. Yeah. Matter of fact, that's another new business that I wanted to bring up. We just thought about this. There is a way that we can keep the auditorium at a different temperature than, say, the hallways and stuff like that. Daryl has looked into plexiglass to go back in that one area there, so the pickleballers, the balls will go into the hallways. The pickleball courts and the auditorium will be at a different temperature than what the hallways will be. We still have to find out if that's all going to work. I think that Daryl's looking into that, is that correct? So that we'll start looking into that to see if that's a viable option and what the cost of that would be. Once we get that, maybe we can meet on a special meeting and get something done if we have to. Okay? So that was new business. Do the commissioners have any other comments?
Yeah, I do. Seeing how the new year's coming up, and we have not had anything back from the city concerning the fire stations, I would like to get the city's response on these fire stations so we don't have to pay for the insurance on them again for another year. We've been waiting since April to hear back from the city on getting this finalized, so. Somebody would like to contact.
I'll contact them tomorrow and see where we're at on that. The last I heard, they thought they pushed for the title companies to get this done, because we've got Jonathan Rose did agree, Ray LC did agree to give us a easement on the road there that he owns. So we just gotta get, the title company is supposed to have gotten all that back.
May I make a comment on that?
Yes, go ahead.
So the title companies were having a difficult problem getting the deeds, a copy of the deeds, because they were so old. But we did get them, our office did acquire them. I do have them, and I can give them to the city clerk or whoever you want to have them. They can then give it to the title company to get that rolling.
Okay, if that's, all right, thank you.
All right.
Any other comments, questions? If not, then we'll open it up to the property owners for one more opportunity. Please keep it at 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Michelle Carr. I am here to represent the Cherokee Village line dancers. They're all standing right there. I am a property owner. It has come to our attention that some have wondered why, or have questioned, or possibly wanted to impose a fee on the amenity of line dancing, the free amenity of line dancing. We would like to explain why we do not charge to participate in this amenity or do not pay a fee. The history behind this, approximately 25 years or maybe more ago, we began a free amenity at Omaha Center, and grandfathered as a free amenity to Cherokee Village. The question was raised back in 2021, why are you a free amenity? The end result we had to leave Omaha Center. So we went to a place in Hardy, and then we also went to a place in Highland. Going forward, we just didn't want to go to the surrounding areas. We wanted, as we were considered Cherokee Village line dancers. So a few of the ladies of our group approached the general manager at the time about the Thunderbird Center, where we currently are right now, about line dancing there. She graciously allowed us to use the beautiful and spacious, large enough for our growing group to use. That's when we became grandfathered in, due to our longevity. It's a win-win and a benefit for all of us. Back to why we were grandfathered as a no-fee group. We represent Cherokee Village to entertain for nursing homes, Christmas events, and festivals. We are a group that has no limitation to age, though we are mainly seniors. We have both male and female attend our group. Line dancing is one of the best exercises you can do, not only physical exercise, but it is a fabulous way for your mind, keeping our minds sharp, and mental exercise. Cherokee Village has the privilege of having a free of charge professional dancer as our instructor, providing us with the proper steps, know-how, and outstanding performances. She gives her time for making this amenity at Cherokee Village. We meet September through May twice a week, and June through August once a week. Our sessions are between 1 to 2 hours long, using no equipment. We sweep the floors after each session and occasionally clean all 60 windows. Plus, we keep an eye on the building. This is the reasons why we were grandfathered in as a no-charge amenity by those in the past.
Thank you. 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Did you get her name, Michelle?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to come up, please?
I'm Dottie Carlisle. I represent the Cherokee Village Bridge Players. We've been playing since a long time before I got here. I'm not sure when they were first sanctioned. They were sanctioned down in Thunderbird in the lower part of the building. Something came up, they wanted to use that, and they moved us to the upper building at Thunderbird, I mean. Now, rumor has it that they want to start charging us. I want to know why. For starters, we make $1 a week. If you want half of that, I guess I can take that out of my pocket. We do have a sanctioned, ACBL sanctioned director that plays every Tuesday and kind of keeps the rules straight as much as it can be done in a group of elderly people. And most of us are to the point where we can't play golf anymore. We can't line dance anymore. You probably noticed they don't walk very good up here anymore. So, and a lot of us are in that shape. And I don't see where we should be penalized.
I want to show this. At this time, our commission is not considering starting to charge any of the sanctioned clubs that are out there right now. I don't know where the rumors have started, but we have not discussed it. We have not brought this up at any formal meeting or anything like that. So right now, I don't know where the rumors started, but I can assure you right now that the commission that's right here before you has not talked about it and has not considered it so far. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, one more. Come on up. Gotta get the mic down. No.
Shannon Lansley again. All right, we have paid the Olson firm, is that correct, or do we still?
We have paid part.
Yeah, we paid what it is.
You paid part of it?
Part of it so far.
Do we have funding to pay for this design?
I mean, that's.
We're committed.
We're committed
We
with
have
it.
budgeted.
It's budgeted already because we voted on it some time ago.
Okay,
Last
so,
year sometime, was it? Yeah, we've already budgeted and we've already.
all right, so,
But just for the study,
Just the conceptual.
just the
There has been
conceptual.
no proposal or contract done for.
And like we told,
Basically nothing moved forward.
and like we told you last time, we don't know. So we're not hiding from you. We don't
no,
know.
I know, but I just, all right, so, what money do we need and do we have it? That's the,
Well, no, we don't know
and
yet.
if
We
we
don't
don't
know.
have it, what are we talking about doing to?
That's what we don't know yet. Those are the unknowns right now.
Is it not 10% of the 7 million, is that what he said?
That's a very.
We paid for the engineer report.
That's it.
We're paying.
What happens after that, what happens once he's done, is all it ended up being up to the commission and whatever else that we have going forward, so. I mean, there's a lot, there's still a lot more involved that we have to go through before we can make a final decision.
So Jeremy.
Future funding for design could be another portion of the grant that you were able to see too. So that's another thing to consider. Some of my other clients are seeking funding for the engineering design side of things before they actually go to construction.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Deanne Draper, Cherokee Road. I just want to remind everybody that sign-up sheets over there, if you would like to help working on the election coming up. The more volunteers we have, the less each of us will have to work at it. So I would really appreciate if you would come over and sign up. There's going to be a meeting where it's mandatory before you can vote on the election poll workers. And it's only one day for 1 hour usually. And then the early voting will be split up into 4-hour shifts, morning, night, morning, afternoon. And like I said, the more people we have volunteering, the less each of us will have to be there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a sign-up sheet over there. She has a sign-up sheet for those who want to volunteer.
She's got it at the end of the table.
So, to get this straight, our next meeting, are we gonna have another commissioners meeting still?
Well, we have,
Yeah, I think that was second.
we either have to have a meeting because we're gonna do the meet and greet on
On
the
the
8th
8th.
at Alcon Center at our.
At 6 o'clock.
At Sydney.
Is it me? Okay. So what do we need to do? So we need to have some dates set. Meet and greet, December 8th,
December 8th.
here, from 4 to 6.
For our regular meeting.
For 4 o'clock. Okay. And what about a regular meeting?
Well, you're here, December 15th.
I will not, I cannot be here for that one, but that's
So is that here or Omaha Center?
here.
Oh, that's at Omaha Center.
Sorry.
Sorry. So we'll be here, meet and greet here, 4 o'clock, December 8th. Please, can I please have a, all right, so December 8th, 4 to 6, here is the meet and greet. There won't be a regular meeting, and then you guys can have the regular meeting, I guess, on the 15th still. Okay.
That's our regular day, but they're.
I will not be here for that.
Tony's not here.
So, saying that then, since I won't be here, then that means, yes.
Just confirm that one more time, because I did write down meet and greet Omaha Center. 16.
Okay.
So one more time for everybody.
All right.
Where is the meet and greet, when and what time?
The meet and greet is taking the place of the regular meeting, and the regular meeting is always here. So it will be at the North Golf Course from 4 to
Monday the 8th.
And then the regular meeting will be on the 15th here, 4 to 6.
Do you think we're gonna have a special meeting anytime? Well, if there is not a special meeting before that, I would like to say one thing real quick. Some years ago, there was an election because of whatever happened. And that was the first election that we had. And from that election, there were 3 men, Mr. David Nebel, Mr. Joe Kaiser, and Mr. Ron Page, that were elected. And they were the first 3 that were elected to take on the task of being an elected official here as a city commissioner. And since this is my last meeting with them as a commissioner, I would like to say thank you guys. Sometimes it's been very fun, sometimes it's been tough. There's been tense moments and there's been great moments. And I just want to say personally, thank you for stepping up and serving, and congratulations. And I know you all are going to enjoy not having to worry about coming here every third Monday of every month. But I just want my personal thanks to the 3 of you for stepping up and serving. And soon after that, Susan took over, and her and I took over. I got appointed not long after that, and we've served since then, and we've got 2 more years left on ours. So thank you, Susan, for all the help, especially here lately that we've done. Onward, yes.
No, it has been torturous at times. I'm just going to say that it has been an honor to serve. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Ron, you have anything to say?
I'm gonna have to second, quick. I'm gonna have to second what Joe said. Although a lot of the people that are in this audience right now, I've spent time with you, I've gone around, and you all have been spectacular in letting me know how dumb I am at times and how smart I am. And I just thank you.
You got one more meeting to be done too. Dave, you have anything to say?
I just want to thank everybody for the support out there. The silent majority has spoken a few times, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Now, with that, I don't think we need to go to another executive session.
Do we?
Do we?
I have a quick question.
Oh, ma'am?
It's just about the insurance thing you were talking about. So does this,
What insurance thing?
For
the
the fire
insurance
station.
for the dam?
Okay.
Oh.
So, do the commissioners contact the insurance company? Does the GM contact them? I would think we would need to find out what their opinion was on draining the dam.
We just now got this report, so I suspect that it'll be on Jan's list in the next couple of days to reach out to the insurance company. But this is the first time we have seen this.
And we just got it today at 2 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. I just wanted to make sure the insurance, because that's what's been on the back of my mind.
Okay.
But good, thank you. And tell me your name, please.
Angie Smith.
Okay, Angie, thank you. I knew that. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything to have here? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
By Mr. David Nebel, seconded by Joe Kaiser. All in favor? Aye.